Welcome to the Wingate Advantage with Brandon Wingate, your weekly source for smart insights on real estate, business, investing, and building wealth right here in Middle Tennessee. Now here's your host, Brandon Wingate.
What's going on, my friends, my family, my listeners? We are back again with episode 2 of the Wingate Advantage. I'm Brandon Wingate. I am also the broker and owner of the Wingate Group real estate firm here in McMinnville, Tennessee. I'm also a real estate investor since 2008, residential, rentals, commercial property, you name it. Just want to recap. If you on my first episode, I went through my story, my history, and I started like most of you. I didn't start with an advantage. I wished many times during those journeys, though, I just didn't have anybody that had been down this trail before of investing, of major real estate deals, people who could mentor me in that direction. And there was many, many times, man, I wished I had someone that I could call, that was local, whatever, I could have lunch with, to ask, because there's so many things that comes along the way that you have questions about. And so I didn't really have that. And so this is the whole reason for this show. I want to bring mentorship to my audience. And the cool thing is I'm available. I'm the broker of the Wingate Group real estate firm, and I'm reachable. You can call, you can talk to me, you can do whatever you need to do. But I'd love to talk to you about questions you might have of investments. Purchasing even your first home, all the way from purchasing your first home to purchasing a rental house to purchasing or selling, commercial property. And I can represent you as a buyer or a seller. So this is called the Wingate Advantage I want to explain because I want to share those advantages, and I've had the experience, as you'll find out from the first episode, and I've come a long way from nothing. And so along the way, I want to share that experience with you and not keep it secret. So I mentioned keeping it secret. And the reason I did is because along the way, I did run into a few people that I knew had that experience, but it was a lot like a secret fishing hole. They did not want to share the information. They didn't want to see someone, quote unquote, be their competition. And so they were not willing to help. And I just come from a mindset of abundance, which means even here in Warren County, Coffee County, Rutherford County, wherever you're at, there is opportunity. And I want to help you guys see that opportunity. And I believe there's enough for everyone. So there's no reason to keep this stuff secret. And so I'm going to bring you the Wingate Advantage in that way. That's the purpose. So last week in episode 1, the big question that I answered, which is one of the number one questions out there, is should you purchase a home in this environment of high interest rates? And a lot of people are just kind of waiting on the sidelines for this interest rate to go down. And I answered that question, and I have my reasons behind it. So if you did not hear that, I encourage you to go listen to the episode 1, where I do answer that for you. And today, I am going a step further with that. And so this can be geared towards first-time home buyers. This can be geared towards even if you've owned 2, 3, 4 homes, maybe the next purchase, the next move can be a smarter move. And it's pretty incredible how much money a person can actually make. I know it seems, a little bit impossible in some cases, especially if you haven't purchased a home yet. A person can literally, in a couple of years, being in a home, if they've purchased it correctly, can make $20, $30, $40,000 on a resale pretty easily, to be honest. But you've got to know what you're looking for. You've got to know the tricks of the trade. And so that's what we're going to go over today. We're going to go over some of the things to look for, how this actually works and how that can be possible. But before I get started, I want everyone to know that I do start out this show with a message out of an ancient book that I rely on a lot every day of my life. And this book, I tell you what, is pretty incredible. This book is actually, get this is a collection of books all in one. Over 40 authors spanning over 1,500 years. The earliest text estimated to be 3,400 years old. All completed almost 2,000 years ago. Now, is that crazy or what, if you think about that? And still today, it proves to be true, accurate, and extremely pertinent to everyday life today. So I see that as something that you shouldn't ignore. So here's one message out of that ancient book that is going to pertain to what we are going to talk about each time I have this show. So that message is, a wise man is full of strength, and a man of knowledge enhances his might. For by wise guidance you can wage your war, and in abundance of counselors there is victory. That's Proverbs 24, 5-6. So basically what these verses are going to pertain to is that the lesson of this episode is wisdom matters, and wisdom comes from experience. Knowledge matters. You can read that. You can study that. You can gain that. Guidance matters. When you're purchasing homes, selling homes, investments, you got to have the right guidance, counselors, and then the overall team. The team is your strength, and you must have a great team beside you. Your team is probably the most important asset and advantage. So I'm hopefully here as one of your team members that you listen to every week on the radio, every Friday and Monday mornings, or on Facebook or YouTube. But the right team can save you thousands. The right team can make you thousands. And the right team can help you reach your goals. So that is right now the number one thing when we're going to talk about our subject today that I want to bring to your attention is the team around you. Even for me today, my team, I wouldn't be here without the team that I have. The guys I have around me, whether it be agents for my brokerage, whether it be individuals that have businesses that help me advertise and build websites and all these different things that has to do with what I do. I definitely don't do it all. It's my team, whether it be electricians that work for me because I'm a contractor as well, builders. I mean, my team, it's taken years. My team is incredible. And today, as a special guest, I have one of those team members. And this is Scott Lindsay. He is an owner of two businesses. One business I use daily, and it's a marketing business that he has. And then he has another business that I'm a contributor to because I believe in the cause. And Scott, how are you doing today?
Well, wonderful. Thanks. Excuse me. It wasn't. Anyways, I thanks for recognizing us in that, and it's been a blessing.
Yeah, good.
Life is a blessing. Be
Absolutely.
careful of what you ask the Lord for, because sometimes He will really give you a lot.
Absolutely, you're exactly right. So with that said, the reason why I wanted to bring you on is, I've been to your house, okay, and it's pretty incredible what you've done with that place. And I know it didn't start out that way. And so that's what I'm hitting on here is how we can make improvements, increase value in your current home, where you're at, and then because more than likely your first home is not going to be the one you're going to stay in forever. So when we're looking at these homes, especially the first home and any other home you're going to move into, the average is people move every 5 years. And so when you're looking at a home, we don't want to fall in love with the little decorations and things that's in that home. We want to look past that, okay? And you're a prime example of that. And I found out that you've done this multiple times. So that's why I wanted to bring you on. I wanted someone else besides me that has done that to bounce off ideas, what you might have done. I may throw in what I've done on some other places where I've actually lived. We're not talking flipping houses. We're talking houses you're actually living in and how to turn that into one of your best investments that you've maybe done your whole life. So first, though, tell me about these two businesses that you have.
Well, my wife and I have endless possibilities, and that's actually been out there for a long time because my wife, she's a computer programmer, developer, and she found out really quickly that she can navigate this stuff and build websites and go ahead and help with the creating different programs. And she's done it for very large companies. I'm not giving any plugs out there. Sorry, we won't do it. But we got really good at that. I was more the side that I understand what looks good, and I pretty personal overall, but I don't keep too many people too close. It was just go with it.
Yeah.
Well, the other side of it, our endless possibilities, is basically our umbrella.
Right.
And then I had an opportunity, a gentleman named Caesar Wilson. He's a local yokel. He actually grew up here in the foster system, went off into the military. He's been training in the martial arts for a while over at used to be Gary Steele. He went ahead and bought that building. Not the building, sorry. That's the Dunnigan, old Dunnigan Mall. But he bought the Gary Steele name, which had been sitting there, I believe, since like 1978, maybe even 76 in the same location.
Yeah.
And he was going to sell it, and he didn't want anybody else to come out. I guess companies from Nashville and stuff were interested in buying out that particular brand. But Caesar works a regular W-2 job and said, you know what, I'm going to take the risk.
Yeah.
Well, he came to me a while back, and he says, hey, got an opportunity for you. Would you be interested in buying in and becoming part owner with me? I talked to my wife, and I said, you know what, this would be a great one to put under endless possibilities because at the end of the day, it's about passive incomes and all that stuff that you actually introduced me to passive incomes the way they are. And I appreciate you for it. Yeah. But from there, we saw all the things that he wasn't doing, that nobody was offering, that could be offered, that is needed. And one of those programs actually when I came to you and I said, hey, got an opportunity for you. And that is the Blue Crew, which is going to offer after school, starting this August, pending interest. We got to make sure the interest is there because everything costs money, right?
Right.
The interest is really growing fast, where we take those kids, if we become a drop-off for the schools, they come to our dojo, they get homework help. The parents even say, hey, by the way, these are the areas that my kid really struggles in, and this is for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
After the 90 minutes is done, we then get that pent-off energy. They've been in school for 8+ hours. Come on. Work in the martial arts. Yeah. Parents pick them up somewhere between 6 and 6:30. We can work with that. So instead of parents that are getting home from Chattanooga, Murfreesboro, we're everywhere. Yeah. Instead of worrying about that homework, all they got to worry about is feeding them, getting them in the shower, and getting them to bed. And whichever order it works, that's up to them. And you are our main sponsor, and we thank you for that, Brandon.
Well, you're welcome. Really do. Well, I believe in the program because as soon as you told me about it, I was like, oh, man. That, my kids are a little bit older now. And they're, driving and different things. Yeah. So I thought, shoot, if they were younger, I would totally be a part of that. And I think it's going to be awesome. You're going to have like a bus system?
Well, we're working right now trying to get the schools to make us a drop-off location.
Yeah.
Because it's for K through 5. That 5th grade, kindergarten through 5th grade.
Right.
So if they make us a drop-off, think of our drop-off and pick-up lines here.
Oh, for sure.
They are crazy. Over there, even at Bobby Ray.
Right.
traffic's a nightmare. But
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
some of these parents had the opportunity versus missing work, having mom and dad, grandparent, everyone sitting in there 45 minutes early, it would free up that Main Street out there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And give those kids something to do. And you said you're going to have, even if they have trouble with math or whatever, you're going to have some people that's specialized or
We
is
have-
very good
Yes.
in those subjects.
We already have that all lined up.
Yeah.
Our instructors, we have a few of them that actually have they actually have degrees in education.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So let's talk about your experience. So, when I went to your house, it was a ranch home overall. You had some square footage, from the way I understand, up top, but then you finished out more square footage in the basement. And I'm telling you, like, I went in this, and this is where you do all your videos and the advertising clips and all this. You got all these screens and everything down there. Pretty impressive.
Thank you.
And so, you added a lot of square foot. You added a lot of value. And so tell me about that process a little bit in when you first came to McMinnville. Now, was this your first home in McMinnville?
Yes, in
Okay.
McMinnville.
Yeah.
But before you go, let me tell you, that this was not our first rodeo
Okay.
when it comes to homes
Yeah.
because my wife and I would not be in the situation we are if it wouldn't have been for some tough situations in life.
Mm-hmm.
When my wife and I got together, let me tell you, she was on one side, I was on the other. We had nothing. I mean, combined, we both had some tough things, but because we had that connection and we listened to each other,
Yeah.
incomes jumped because of changing jobs. You have to be willing to make a change
For sure.
if you want something to change.
Absolutely.
I mean, she was stable where she was at, but I'm like, honey, you got to market yourself better. Next thing you know, as soon as
Yeah.
she did, she went from this side to all of a sudden 50% increase in income because you moved, because you
Yes,
took the
yes.
risk.
Right. Yep.
We had started with, rent one place after we had the one house and then turn around, live in it. And one thing after another, we started saying, hold on, there's a better way. We can do better.
Yeah.
So we started doing small improvements, living in them for 2 years, and then constantly selling them and taking a new job. So every 2 years, she was already remarketing herself for
Yeah.
a new position, and she was getting paid to move from here and there, 'cause
Right.
there's a lot of money in marketing yourself.
For sure. And so you mentioned moving here and there and change. On my first episode, I talked about how much I moved. And so that's one of the things that I realized when you move, the opportunities and focusing on the positives and what comes from that. And when we come back, we will talk more about this experience. Hello, I'm Brandon Wingate. I've got a question for you. Are you an agent that works for a brokerage and you just feel sometimes you're working hard, but the agency just takes a little too much of your money, or they're just not giving you a lot for what you're paying into them? Have you ever added that up and seen how much you did actually pay to the brokers during the whole year you were out there working hard, selling and helping your clients? Well, I'm here to tell you there's a new way, and it's the Wingate Group, real estate firm, McMinnville, Tennessee. Why am I saying that? Because I'm here to tell you I'm creating an advantage for you, built for you, 100% commission structure. I want you to keep more of your check than you've ever had before. We've got training systems in place for new agents. We've got lead generation. We've got a great, beautiful brokerage that I welcome you to come see. Give me a call. Ask questions. And I know sometimes it's hard to move and make that choice. It's fear that might hold some back. But I want to eliminate that fear. Give me a call, 931-474-2500. And I'm Brandon Wingate with the Wingate Group, real estate firm, McMinnville, Tennessee. Okay. So I was talking about moving around and experiences, and so for my first episode, I mentioned moving so many times. Now a person can focus on the negatives in their life, or they can focus on the positives. Okay, you got to focus on the positives. So the positives about that movement that I encountered throughout my life was, yeah, I lost friends, but I gained new ones. You experienced a different way of life in different places that you were. Opened my eyes to, hey, what's this secret that people seem to have about real estate? All those types of things led me to where I am now. And so you're talking about moving and change. And I'm telling you, there's so much change in this world, especially now, AI and all this crazy stuff happening. You do have to move with it. You got to move like water, like I always say.
Absolutely.
And find a way to change with it. Scott here mentioned he moved about every 2 years. So part of the team that I'm talking about here can be a CPA. I want to bring that up. Now, I'm not a CPA, but from experience, I know that the 2 years is the key. So a lot of people don't know that, say you buy a home and you go in, you fix it up, you update the bathrooms, you update the kitchens, maybe finish out a basement, like in this case, and you live in it 2 years and you resell it. And because you added square foot or whatever, that extra money, the higher price you sell it for, let's say you bought it for $250, now it's worth $295, $45,000 spread there, and there are no capital gains if you've been in it, personally lived in it for 2 years. And so, a CPA can explain how that works and how that goes and the rules to it. But in general, that's what happens. And, we will talk about taxes, and taxes is one of the things that if you have an opportunity to not have to pay them legally, and some people's like, that don't sound right or whatever, and the rich get all the tax incentives and this and that. Now, let me let you understand something. If it's written in the tax code and it's legal to do, there's a reason why they want you to do it. They want you to take advantage of that. And so if it's there, you can learn about these things, and save yourself a lot of money. And the IRS actually wants you to do this. And it's for reasons. It's for reasons of economics. And so that's one of the main points there. So if you've lived in a home 2 years, you're able to make money. When you leave that home, that profit is going to be tax-free. And that's a huge advantage. So on average, how many homes have you moved out of? And then I kind of am curious about how much money you think, not overall that you've made, but each time you moved, what was the normal amount of money that you felt like you made from each one of those homes?
Well, I can tell you that we've moved at least 7 times in the last 10 years.
Wow.
Of which we've flipped 5 homes. Every 2 years. And this was a running joke with friends of mine.
Yeah.
Well, we know when the Lindsays are going to move. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, whenever the house is finished, you up and move. Your wife has a new job, and you selling that house. I'm like, it's just opportunities knock. And they do if you have your stuff out there. And without giving exact numbers, I will tell you, my wife and I have looked at it. It averages out to over 30%.
So for quick math for everyone, 30%. So if you bought in, say now, you bought a home for $200,000, 30% profit, 30 times 200,000, we're talking $60,000 right there. That if you've put in, even counting, right? The money you put into the home.
That's taking away every board, nail, paintbrush, listing it, paying for an agent to list or sell it, or buyer's agents, any type of givebacks. I forget what you call it in the real estate world. Concessions.
Oh yeah, yes.
Take every penny.
Right, concessions to the realtor, the one that's helping you sell it.
Yeah, the only thing we aren't taking off there is the blood, sweat, and tears. Technically, I got to count my time, my wife's time, other friends or whatever that may have assisted here and there. But usually I did most everything myself because learning real early that I may not love this, but it's not about today. It's
Yeah.
not about tomorrow. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, and people have these blinders on
Yeah.
that they don't see, hey, the visual. What could I do with this?
Yeah. You know, the cool thing about AI, changing with AI, now you can take a picture of it and AI can give you a great information of like, hey, this is the most economical way to update this
Absolutely.
room or building or whatever. And so, you know, using ChatGPT or, you know, Google AI and stuff,
Just gotta
it
be
can give you those pictures and then boom, you get started.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, 30%. So when you looked at these houses, you probably obviously saw some problems with some of them, but you felt like you could fix them. But it wasn't too much, more than you could handle. You know, say for instance, this is one of the points here. When you're looking at these homes, like we mentioned, you got to look past the paint color. You got to look past the decor and how cute it is and things like this. And what you need to look for are problems, because whether it be business, whether it be buying a home or whatever, and you're wanting to look for an investment, when you can solve problems, and you're a great problem solver, that's where money's made.
Yes, sir.
And so that goes for real estate as well. When you say you get part of your team is a great inspector, okay? He's going to go in and he's going to go through the home with a fine-tooth comb. And I want to let everybody know, when you go to buy a home, or even sellers, okay, this is a point of, man, heavy emotion, okay? That's one of the hardest areas for a realtor to handle, really, because the seller's usually in love with their home. They've had it for, say, 20 years or something. And, you know, that home just is not built a lot of times like the newer ones. So the inspectors have a newer way of doing things that might not match up with that older home. Not to necessarily to say that that home's in bad shape, but, you know, maybe the floor joists are spread a little wider than the floor joists now. Maybe they're because, you know, sometimes they're a harder wood. You know, those older homes are made out of hardwood instead of pine. Different things like that. So the inspectors go in, they go through with a fine-tooth comb, 20, 30 things come back on this inspection, scares everybody to death. Makes the seller mad, scares the buyer, but sometimes you've got to, and that even goes for new homes. And so sometimes you got to slow down, and if you've got that realtor on your side, and especially that's part of why I got my license as a contractor, and like that I have that experience, because we can sit down and we can go through this inspection, and we can say, that's a big deal, that's not a big deal. This is something that can be fixed. It makes it sound scary on the inspection. And this is something that is a big deal. Let's pass this home up. Let's go to a new one. And so that inspection and the inspector is an important part of your team. But the point is that in that inspection, and if you can solve a lot of those problems,
Yes.
that's where the money comes in. You can solve those problems so that they're not there for the next person in 2 years, 3 years, however long you live in that home. They're not there for the next person when you sell it. And so that's one of the ways to increase value in the current home. So what are some of the things that you did? Let's just talk about your current home right now that I was so impressed with.
Appreciate
that you did to increase this home's value. And also I want to mention square foot as well.
Well, right off the rip, love the location.
Yes.
Excuse me. To be honest, we did a lot of things wrong when we bought this house. And again, this was before I even knew you. I relied on pretty much myself alone with my wife. You know, everything my wife and I, we've ever done. We haven't had family help and everything else, nothing against her family, my family, nothing.
Yeah.
We're out of our zone. But yes, we said back in the day, after we moved out of Tennessee, that when we got the right opportunity, we were coming back to Tennessee, and this is where we are going to be. This is where we are going to retire. And at the time, we were actually, I got to throw this in there, we were out in Hickson. We made a killing off the one in Hickson because it was a single story. It was a very open floor plan.
Yeah.
When we bought that place, it had popcorn ceiling. Who have you ever heard say, hey, I want that house? If it had popcorn ceiling, I'd buy it. No. So I looked at it, and I got this this house dirt cheap compared to what we sold it at.
Mm-hmm.
All I had to do was rent some scaffolding, spray some water,
Yeah.
and pull off popcorn ceiling, patch any scrapes that I had,
Yep.
add a little bit of recessed lighting. The stuff was already
Yeah.
up there.
Yes, there you go.
And now I can turn over the kitchen. I mean, I put like maybe 15 grand into this house.
Yeah.
I kid you not.
In the total house.
In the total house,
Okay.
between the scaffolding and repainting,
Yeah.
even put a whole new kitchen in there with granite countertops, the large basin
Yeah.
sink, you know, with the nice stainless steel. It was gorgeous. It really was.
Yeah.
And then we happened to be in the right market. COVID hit. And my wife and I said, no, we're too close to the city. Crazy stuff's going on. And I fat-fingered it. And whoever says they want to move to Warren County.
I did, actually.
You did, but guess what?
Yeah.
I had never even heard of it. Most people don't even know.
Right.
We are the nursery capital of the world.
So I only heard of Warren County because when I mentioned on the previous show, I met my wife at Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
My wife's from here. She went to school here. Y'all might know her, Elke York. She ran track. She's, I think her little, the relay team, their names are still up in the high school with a record not broken yet.
I didn't
All the way from back then. Yeah, they were
as much
fast.
time as you
Anyway,
guys spent there.
So she was from here, and we've been married 25 years, almost 25 years. And, 24 to be exact. Better be exact. Anyway. So, we came up here to visit her parents. Her parents still live here. And, man, as soon as I started coming into Warren County, I was like, I like this. We were in Murfreesboro. Couldn't stand the traffic. Anyway, that's how I got here. And so we'll get back to what you were saying as soon as we come back from the commercial break.
Come with me for a moment and let's talk about your dream. For some, it's a home filled with family, maybe a front porch to gather at the end of the day. For others, it's finding that perfect piece of land for their dream home, a quiet place in the country. How about those with a dream to open a business, maybe on Main Street? I'm Jacqueline LeDuc with the Wingate Group, and I love helping people find those places where dreams can grow. So when it's time for your next chapter, whether you're buying, selling, or simply exploring possibilities, I hope you'll consider me. I'll take care of the details so you can focus on making your dreams a reality. I'm Jacqueline LeDuc with the Wingate Group. Call me at 931-259-6138 or at our office, 931-474-2500. Together, we can write your next chapter.
Okay. Sorry, I interrupted Scott's thought process there, so we'll get back to what he was saying.
Again,
Yeah.
I love interaction with you because it's always knowledgeable. You are one of those guys that when we get into a conversation, it can be 35 seconds because one of us is going one way, the other one's going the other, or it can be an hour and it's just packed full. But fat-fingered, thumbed up, happened to see pictures of this place. We drove on out, and my kids ran down the hill.
Oh,
And when you come from more of the city setting and you're
Right.
constantly busy and your kids actually run and given today's generation, come on.
Yeah.
My wife looked at the real estate agent and said, I think we just bought this house. And we hadn't even gone inside yet.
Oh, okay.
I loved
knew.
it was one of those where, okay, you already got buying dollars are going. We get inside. It's technically 2-bedroom.
Really?
My home, when we bought it, they marketed it as 4.
Oh, okay.
But the upstairs only technically had the master and one more bedroom, and it had a huge 34, 36 by 30 room with no closets. And in today's world, you can't count that.
Yep.
And you go downstairs, they had a basement portion, a lot of it was already finished, and 2 more rooms that you could call bedrooms.
Right.
But there's no regress window.
Now, was the basement heated and cooled already?
Oh, yes.
Okay. All right.
It was basement is one of my pet peeves because there's so much that can be done. And we had already been growing our business where we've been getting busier and busier. It went from my wife was exclusive with just certain companies because she actually worked for University of Tennessee when we were living in Strawberry Plains for over 10 years. And she had built over the next really 13, we built a ton of connections with big companies that
Right.
liked what my wife did. And even though she wasn't working directly for them anymore,
Yeah.
they would send her stuff and contract her out.
Yeah.
Well, I hated the 2 bedrooms.
Yeah. For
I
sure.
hated also, if you drove down, you saw where my driveway wraps down, and you drive in, there was 2 different car bays.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't drive out.
Oh,
So either you backed it in
Yeah.
or you had to back it out.
Yeah.
Well, it's downhill. I got kids, and I looked at my
Right.
wife. I was like, I hate this.
yeah. Yeah.
Last but not least, I looked at her and I said, honey, COVID. And this is actually when my wife and I and our kids really got heavy into the traveling, the wrestling, and all that stuff.
Right.
Actually, that's where you and I,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that was ground zero.
Yeah.
I hate to throw that plug. But,
Yeah.
but I looked at her and she said, if you want this house, we'll get this house.
Yeah.
I said, as long as you let me do whatever I want down here, that you can do everything in the world you want up here.
Yeah.
But the basement is kind of mine.
Yeah.
That didn't work out that way because let me tell you, she
Never does.
Yeah. But I was able to take that upstairs room of 36, 34, whatever it was.
Yeah.
It was about 1,000 square feet. You've seen where I
Yep.
turned it into not just one room, but a game room, sitting area where
Yeah.
the kids can play,
Yeah.
and then 2 bedrooms with actual closets and everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then turned around and in the basement, ripped out the garage doors because I still have a 2-car workshop garage when you first
Yeah.
drive in.
That's right.
So I yanked that out, walled it up, 16.5 center, everything good to go,
Yeah.
ran all my lines, insulation,
Mhm.
added some windows, made a 14 by 14 wrestling room with just the wrestling mat,
Yeah.
but then the other side with the weights and the
Yeah.
full rack
Yeah.
and then the billiards room.
Yeah.
And
And then my favorite part, the movie area,
the theater room.
the theater room. Yeah. That was cool.
That was the funny thing is, everything I had priced was so expensive that
Yeah.
I said, hold on, what can I cut out? And one of the most expensive pieces, believe it or not, was that riser.
Yeah.
And I just went and looked at specs. I'm like, wait a minute. All I need to do is get 4 pieces of wood and a sheet of plywood, and
Yeah.
then make my brackets here. And I take an old piece of carpet, whatever, tack it on the side. An $1,100 piece cost me about $40 to make.
Wow.
The most expensive piece was
Right.
the plywood.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Big deal.
That's incredible. Yep. So it was a 2-bedroom home before.
Yeah.
1 kitchen or 2?
2.
It was
That
already
kitchen
2.
was already down
Okay,
in the basement
okay.
too.
And so now today, so you your total bedroom count is what?
Legitimate, on paper, legal, fire
Yeah,
code,
yeah,
everything is 4.
Okay, that's a good number. 4 bedrooms are
4 bedroom, 3 bath.
priced really nice. You know, people want 4 bedrooms for sure. How many bathrooms?
3.
3.
3 full.
Okay. And then total square foot.
6,700 and some change if
Yeah.
you include the basement.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So my office area is about 3,300 square feet.
Yeah, yeah. So the reason I'm hitting on square foot, okay, let's just say I'm thinking of a home right now that I know somebody is remodeling, and it's 1,200 square foot, started a 1,200 square foot home, and so that was the top level. The basement was not finished out, and they decided to go ahead and finish out the basement and resell this home. So they literally added another 1,200 square foot to this home. You got to heat it and cool it. You got to finish it out, meaning flooring. It can be block walls, but you can put paint on it, lighting, this kind of thing. And you can do this over a period of time. So, you know, I know some of you guys are hearing like $15,000 or whatever that he put into this home, but mind you, it's over a years of time.
Yes.
And so instead of putting back $500 a month or whatever in a savings account, you put back that money or use that money that you know is going to multiply within your home and the improvements that we're talking about, and go slow.
I did a little different.
Okay.
Because we bought at the perfect time. Our interest
Yeah.
rate,
Yeah.
less than 2.9%.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So
That's what everybody's waiting on.
They're not going to get it back.
Yeah.
That's what people really need to look
Yeah.
at, and that's
Right.
one thing you and I have talked about
Yeah.
in the past. I like to keep my home leveraged as much as I can because that is my biggest investment when you think of long-term wealth.
Right.
So I will always try to keep it semi-leveraged, whether it's a home equity line at a good rate, and I pull said money out when I need it, if I need it. I'm never going to take
Yeah.
my investment money like the gold, silver. I'm never going to mess with that
Yeah.
because if I take it out, now I got realized capital gains, and I get a
Right.
CPA, and everyone can
Right.
help them with that.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I look at how can I make this most affordable, and it always is going ahead and paying for that up front
Yeah.
with XYZ, and then using other people's money cheaper than what
Yep.
because if I can make a higher interest rate over here
Yeah.
versus the borrow,
Yeah.
I don't mind. I don't mind having a payment
Right.
because if I'm making more here
Yes.
than
yes,
I'm
yes.
paying out,
Right. Right.
I leverage the money.
Yeah.
Because if I offer somebody even a job, even though the majority of the stuff I do myself, it's even buying the material. You go to a Lowe's, even here in town, you get contractor rates. You buy at a certain
Yeah.
amount of stuff.
Yeah.
It's cheaper.
And that is, and guys, I'm here to. There's all kinds of different ways to do it, and we're going to hit on that for sure. Now, for the ones that's you were further along, you've done this. You said about 7 times, and
At least.
Yep. And so, he made his money, and so there's a point where leveraging is absolutely good. If you can do that and you're disciplined, discipline is what it takes. Like you can't pull this out and go.
You were a big help with that. Brandon.
You can't pull this money out of the house and then go buy a new car, okay?
No.
Because there's a big difference between what's really an asset and what's not. An asset, short story, puts money in your pocket. Liabilities don't. They take money out. And so you don't pull this out. It's got to go right back into that asset.
Correct.
That's going to make you money. You can't be spreading that money out everywhere else for coffees and all this other stuff.
Right. It's just that one main project
Yes.
that turns around and makes that value of. I mean, I'll tell you, if it wasn't for the homes,
Yeah.
it wasn't for buying them and not being afraid and saying, okay,
Right.
I may not love this,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but I know I can do something with this.
Exactly. That is the number one point for sure, is knowing, okay, you got to look for the value. You got to look for the basement. You got to look, can I add an extra bedroom? Essentially, you did that under the same footprint.
Yes, sir.
Can I update this bathroom? Can I add a bathroom? All these things will update the house, add value. It's not money wasted.
Correct.
And like we heard earlier, about a 30% return on your money. And that is pretty common. And because, your home is increasing value, there are dips in the market. Like we're kind of in one now. But if you were to look back at a home, for instance, that was bought 5 years ago, even in this, even in this market, quote unquote dip, it's more valuable overall than it was 5 years ago.
I'll tell you, you way undersold that.
Yeah.
We would not have pulled the trigger
Yeah.
when we did, even though, people were scared, all that stuff was going on. If we didn't have just the vision to say, hey, look at this, look what we could have versus where we were, we would have missed out on a huge, because this one's gone great for us, but this is it. We're here. We ain't going nowhere. We love it here. Great people. There's nothing better than really coming home to Warren County. I joke around all the time. We go out to the Northeast, and I love my family, but my favorite time is leaving and coming back home.
For sure. Yep.
It's a great county. It really is.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love it. So guys, this is a game of multiplication. All right, 1,200 square foot. Let's just take a basement for instance. Say you added that 1,200 square foot. So now you got 2,400. So the basement, 1,200 square foot, can be 75 to 85% of the total square foot of what a home is being sold for. For easy math, it's let's say you're in a market where the resale value is 200 square foot for the home you're selling, and you finish out a basement. Well, you've literally added about $150 per square foot times 1,000. Let's just say 1,000 square foot you added in a basement. You added $150,000 of value to that home.
It's big money.
I mean, that's incredible. And so that's what I'm talking about here. This money that can be made if you choose the right home can be really a life-changing amount of money.
It may not be perfect right
Yeah.
then, but with the right vision and the right sweat equity.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. All right. We'll be right back.
Anyone can unlock a door and show a property, but understanding a property's true value comes from real-world experience. I'm Joseph Anish with the Wingate Real Estate Firm. For more than 3 decades, I've worked hands-on with licensed contractors. I understand property maintenance, business ownership, commercial property leasing, and real estate investment. When you're buying or selling, you need someone who sees beyond the fresh coat of paint and nice landscaping. You need someone who understands how to structure your income potential as well as long-term value of your investment. As a Tennessee licensed realtor, I am someone you can trust with hands-on knowledge. While I'm not a contractor, engineer, or home inspector, my experience helps me identify key features that buyers may want to investigate further with. A licensed professional inspector. Whether you're looking for a home, land, investment property, or commercial real estate, call Joseph Anish with the Wingate Real Estate Firm, 474-2500 or 607-3231. Real advice backed by a lifetime of experience.
Now, I want to go back to when we mentioned problems, and this is where the team comes in, and the people representing you are extremely important. So let's just say you've purchased a home or have a home under contract, and you've gone through the inspection, and the problems have come to you, and there's 15 pages of issues, which is not uncommon. The way to handle that is find what you can fix, like I mentioned before. Make sure there's nothing, and talk to a contractor, whatever you might need to do during this period of time. Make sure things are not a deal killer, say bad foundation issues or something like that. That could definitely be a big problem. But if you're not running into that stuff, negotiate. Use those problems that the previous owner either didn't want to fix, didn't know how to fix. It's just, as time goes on, there's a lot of people that just live in a house. They don't keep it, repaired, things like that. And so they don't realize what's going on. And so negotiate those, that you can take an estimated cost of what it's going to take to fix all those problems. And then you also got to factor in the time for you and the hassle that you're going to have to deal with, and come up with a number that it needs to be to take off the price of the price tag. So if you've got a great negotiator, which is your realtor on your side, somebody that's used to doing this, a lot of times you can get this done. And say you're buying a home at $275, and there's issues. Nobody else that maybe have come through, they've been scared off by the inspection report or whatever. So now's your turn, and you can negotiate $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 off these price tags.
That's a lot.
And then you go in and fix this, and years down the road, you live there, you're happy, you've done what you've done, and then you're ready to move up to a better house. You take advantage. It's a great market, like when you sold yours.
Yes.
And then you can make up that $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 you took off the price tag then,
Goodness.
plus the added value. And so it really is an incredible opportunity, but you've got to get past, the problems that you can fix. Put great paint, landscaping, flooring, updates, all these types of things. And again, the game of multiplication. If you can finish out another room, a bathroom, a basement, those are the things to look for when you're out there trying to find that house. So, anything you want to add to that?
I really think it gets back to the team.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I feel when we moved here, and you and I we kind of moved from here to there. We just were in passing. and then finally started talking, found out really a little bit more about you, and then found out how much there was about what you have been doing in your career and where you built. And we were able to give some information and find out that we have a lot in common, but we also have those missing pieces.
Yeah.
And once you put missing pieces in with someone like yourself and even like myself, exponential growth is real. But so many people are so afraid to say, I don't know, or I would like, or if I had. They don't realize it's right there.
Yeah.
A lot of times they're just going through the motions, their daily lives, and they could be so much more if they stopped being afraid. They joke around about guys not wanting to ask for directions and stuff like that. And I guess maybe that's, look, now we don't need it. We got a phone.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, reaching out, finding that group of people.
Yeah.
It's even like the ones I've been blessed that I am extremely picky at who we do business for. And that's why, you know, as well as I do, we've had this discussion, and not even your agents. They don't come directly to me unless you call me and say, hey, this is so-and-so, this is what we're going to do, because we stay extremely busy, especially with what you do.
Yeah.
You keep us very busy. And everything that you do, it seems like you meticulously look at, and you are so for the branding. You are so for the experience.
Yeah.
And with your team, the way you have built yours, and I'm glad to be part of it, I feel very confident that if someone would just ask, hey, I got this going on, you're going to be that guy that can really lead them along the way.
Absolutely. And I want to say with that, and when I started the brokerage, I was a firm believer that the broker that owns it or runs it is definitely the foundation of that brokerage. And so that broker has a responsibility of training everyone, sales meetings, this and that, and breeding their personality, breeding their knowledge into that brokerage. And they have a vision of how this wants to go. And so that's what I'm focusing on, so that when people come to my team, which I've got an awesome team, I tell you what, these are great, great people. I'm bringing that information. I'm bringing what we're doing here to the brokerage, and we are serving people. And I feel like, just in these cases, we want to bring value. We want to help people become more successful and make great choices, whether it be investments, whether it be commercial real estate. And there's actually, a person can try and sell commercial real estate, but until you've personally experienced it, personally owned it, been there, done that, there is so much to commercial real estate that can be missed, can be overlooked. It's extremely important, especially in commercial real estate, to be represented by someone who knows what they're doing. And, I have Joe Anish on the team with me.
Love Joe.
Yeah, and he's awesome, and he's got so much experience. I've got a lot of experience, and so in commercial real estate, I feel like we're very strong. I will just throw that out there. But with that said, we've got I want to highlight 2 properties we have for sale. One is for lease, one is for sale. So speaking of commercial real estate, we're located in 119 West Main Street, downtown. Our brokerage is, and then we're in that dark blue building right there on the corner across from the library. And the brokerage is you come in the back where the parking space is. Now, right there in that same area, facing a highly busy red light, we got 1,000 square foot for lease. And it's a beautiful space. As far as any business is wanting high traffic and visibility, it's available. And so Joe actually has that listed. And if you want to know more information, give us a call at 931-474-2500, and I'll connect you with Joe, and he can show you around. The other one that I want to mention is listed by Jacqueline LeDuc, and she's another great agent of mine. And this property is actually mine. I own it. And it is a modular home on a solid foundation. So I like to hit on first-time home buyers and affordable homes. So this thing is beautiful. It's E-rated. Your electricity is going to be super low. It's a brand spanking new Clayton home, and built really well, because I'm picky about, if I'm going to put something like this out there, I want it to be built like a real home. And it's got great insulated windows and insulation and 2x4 walls and all these things, but set on a block foundation, no longer mobile. So therefore, it's opened up to FHA home loans. It's opened up to rural home loan, VA. So it's priced at $239, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and when you move into it, you still got a warranty on it from Clayton Homes. Like anything that goes wrong with it, like for a solid year. And I'll tell you what, Clayton Homes got to give a shout out to them. They're awesome to deal with. Anyway, those 2 homes are available. If you want to know more about it, you want to see it, give us a call, 931-474-2500. And I am Brandon Wingate once again. I am the owner and broker of the Wingate Group, McMinnville, Tennessee. And if you're looking for a great team, I've got a lot of experience. I've got guys like Scott Lindsay today on board with me, and we definitely have some great connections. We got great connections with banks to get you ready to purchase, and we can lead you in the right direction. So please give us a call, and have a great team on your side. So we'll talk to you soon. We'll see you next time.